Life would be far simpler if everyone liked each other. Imagine a world where no one held grudges, no one felt resentment, and everyone got along effortlessly. Conflicts would be rare, wars might never happen, and even everyday disagreements could disappear. But that's not how human relationships work. No matter how kind, patient, or thoughtful you try to be, there will always be people who simply don't like you. And the truth is, they're allowed to feel that way. In fact, contrast is part of what makes positive relationships meaningful. Friendship feels special partly because we know what rejection feels like. Love feels powerful because we've experienced loneliness or distance before. Those less pleasant emotions, being ignored, disliked, or excluded, create the backdrop that helps us appreciate genuine connection. Still, it's never comfortable to suspect that someone might secretly dislike you. Often people try to hide those feelings, which makes the situation confusing. Instead of openly expressing their dislike, they behave in subtle ways that reveal how they really feel. If you're wondering whether someone has negative feelings toward you but isn't saying it outright, there are several behavioral patterns that can reveal it. One of the most noticeable signs is how they communicate with you. Think about how conversations feel with someone who genuinely enjoys your company. The exchange flows naturally. You can talk for hours about serious topics or even completely random ones and still feel engaged. But when someone dislikes you, conversations tend to be brief and mechanical. If you ask them a simple question like how their day is going, they might respond with a short answer like fine or okay, without expanding further. The interaction feels cut short, as though they're trying to end it as quickly as possible. Over time, this pattern signals that they would rather not engage. Another powerful clue appears through body language. Humans communicate far more through posture and movement than through words. When people feel comfortable around someone they like, they naturally maintain eye contact, angle their body toward them, and sometimes unconsciously mirror their gestures. These behaviors signal openness and connection. But if someone secretly dislikes you, their body may send the opposite signals. They might avoid looking directly at you, cross their arms, lean away, or position themselves at a distance. These actions create a subtle barrier, almost like an invisible wall. It's rarely done consciously, but it's a common defensive reaction when someone feels uncomfortable or guarded. Trust is another area where hidden dislike can appear. Meaningful relationships usually grow through vulnerability. When people trust each other, they share thoughts, experiences, and personal feelings. But when someone harbors negative feelings toward you, they may hesitate to open up at all. They might remain guarded, suspicious of your intentions, or unwilling to reveal anything personal. Of course, some individuals simply take longer to trust anyone, so context matters. But if you consistently make an effort to connect while they continue keeping you at a distance, it may indicate that they don't feel positively toward you. Frustration can also become more visible in these dynamics. When someone already dislikes you, even small disagreements can escalate quickly. They may seem irritated more easily when interacting with you compared to how they behave around others. A person who was cheerful a moment ago might suddenly appear annoyed or impatient once you enter the conversation. This doesn't always happen intentionally. It's often an emotional reaction they struggle to hide. Sometimes, however, people who dislike you try to conceal it behind polite behavior. Instead of openly expressing hostility, they maintain a surface level of courtesy to avoid confrontation. They might smile, agree politely, or appear cooperative. But the friendliness feels slightly artificial, as though it's being performed rather than felt. Beneath that polite surface, there may be subtle passive-aggressive remarks, sarcasm, or small comments that reveal underlying negativity. Avoidance is another major indicator. If someone goes out of their way to limit interactions with you, that behavior speaks volumes. Perhaps they work near you but choose to communicate through messages or emails instead of speaking directly. Maybe they learn your routine and adjust their schedule to minimize crossing paths. And when you do happen to meet unexpectedly, they often have a quick excuse ready to end the interaction. Consistent avoidance usually signals a strong desire to maintain distance. Listening habits can also reveal how someone feels about you. When we value someone's thoughts, we give them our full attention. We ask questions, respond thoughtfully, and remember details they share. But when someone isn't invested in you, their attention drifts. They may interrupt, glance at their phone, or appear distracted. When you send messages, they might skim them rather than read carefully. Their responses often miss important parts of what you said, suggesting they were only partially engaged. Another revealing sign is whether they make any effort to understand you. Feeling understood is one of the most important aspects of connection. When someone respects you, they try to see things from your perspective, even if they disagree. But if someone dislikes you, they may dismiss your ideas quickly or ignore your opinions entirely. Instead of listening and considering your viewpoint, they might dominate conversations or constantly shift the focus back to themselves. Sometimes they even try to one-up your experiences, turning every discussion into a subtle competition rather than a shared exchange. Social inclusion also provides clues. When people enjoy someone's presence, they naturally include them in gatherings, celebrations, or group activities. If everyone around you seems to be invited to events except you, it can become painfully obvious that someone doesn't want you involved. Even if you wouldn't necessarily want to attend those events, realizing you were deliberately excluded can still sting. Finally, there is the role of intuition. Humans have strong instincts about social dynamics. Your gut feeling can sometimes detect subtle cues before your conscious mind fully processes them. Of course, intuition isn't always perfect. Anxiety or insecurity can occasionally make us misinterpret situations. But if you consistently feel a clear, calm sense that someone doesn't like you, your instincts might be picking up on the patterns described earlier. Recognizing these signals can be helpful, but it's equally important not to obsess over changing someone's opinion of you. Not everyone will connect with you, and that's a normal part of life. Trying to force approval from people who have already formed negative impressions often leads to frustration and wasted energy. Instead, it's healthier to invest your time and attention in relationships where appreciation flows naturally. Spend time with people who enjoy your company, value your ideas, and make you feel respected. Life is far too short to constantly chase acceptance from those who have already decided they don't want to offer it. Learning to accept this reality can actually be freeing. Once you stop trying to win over everyone, you create space for more authentic connections. The people who truly like you will appreciate who you are without needing constant persuasion. And that's what matters most. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely enjoy your presence rather than constantly worrying about those who don't.